it's not an exaggeration, and I wasn't on any kind of, I don't do drugs. So it wasn't that. And I wasn't drinking, obviously. But if we had about 10 minutes left to go, and I was sitting behind the desk, and right then and there, like, I knew this was it. And I felt something pulling out of me. I just felt something detaching from me. And I happened to look down, like behind the desk, like at below my chest. And as I looked down, I saw this thing detaching from my body. And when I say thing, it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Um, but it was almost like, I know it's going to sound really strange, but it was almost like a fetus in like a spear, like a round spear. It was so bizarre. And I looked down and I saw that, and all of a sudden I felt it pulling out of me. And then I looked at everybody and I'm thinking, does anybody else see this? But no one was saying anything. And then I looked at everybody and I was like, I need to go to the hospital right now. And we stopped at that point, and the show was live. And I don't know what my producer did, probably played music, or maybe they finished talking, but they took me to the emergency room. The doctors were waiting for me there, and I ended up in ICU immediately, ended up on machines. My kidneys died. My heart was surrounded by potassium, and my lungs were full of liquid, full of water. And I was in there for a week in ICU, and some other things happened. That is a whole other side of the story. But I was in the hospital for 3 months, almost 3 months, and I was put on dialysis for about 8 months. I was immediately put on it, of course, when I went into ICU. But after being released from the hospital, I was sent to a center every other day to do dialysis. And then one day the doctor came in. I was like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And he came up to me with a nurse, and he's like, "You don't need to come back." I was like, first thing I thought, Clayton, typical like person, human being. I was like, "Is there something wrong with my insurance?" First thing I thought. And they were like, "No, your kidneys are working." I was like, "What do you mean? How are they working?" And he's like, "I've never had a patient go off dialysis, ever. And usually when a person's on dialysis, they're on it for life." Yeah. But my kidneys came back, and I have not been on dialysis in over 3 years. And, but I'll tell you, that experience is amazing. Yeah. And I don't know what that thing was that I saw, but it changed a lot of things in my mind about life. And I know what I saw, and it was bizarre.